Hi,
Hi,
how are you?
I am swell.
Good. Welcome
How
back
about
to another episode of Wicked.
mysterious?
I'm your host, Danie,
And I'm Katie.
and this is Mini Mystery Monday.
It is. It is a
I
Monday. Another
think you're,
Monday.
I think
Sorry.
you're gonna love this one.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's a good one. We have no housekeeping really either, so
It's gonna get right into it.
I guess so. Send us an email. There was an uptick last week, so thank you. We've got some good ones coming up.
Cool.
All right, so I guess we'll just start.
I guess so. We're so awkward right now. It's like wicked early in the morning.
It's all good.
Okay.
In the mountains of Tennessee, a little girl named Katie was born the 10th of 12 children. Her family was poor, but not much is publicly known about Katie, not even her last name.
Ooh, I like her already.
It's known that she lacked a formal education, never learning how to read, though she did know numbers, the alphabet, and how to write her name. She also developed incredible psychic skills, one in particular earning her the name of the Gold Leaf Lady. So let's get into it.
Oh, I've never heard of this.
Me neither until I researched it.
Cool.
This is such a good one.
I did.
I-
I like her name already, obviously.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know if that's her real name.
Oh,
I'm not sure, but she goes by Katie for this whole thing.
all right, cool.
Katie left school in second grade to help care for her mother who had become ill. Her mother suffered from conversion disorder, which used to be called hysterical blindness. Have you ever heard of that?
Nope.
Wicked
Wow.
interesting.
What?
This is a complicated neurological disorder brought on by trauma from a severe stress. Some symptoms include paralysis, inability to speak, blindness, seizures, and balance problems.
Conversion disorder?
Yes.
Okay.
Katie's older sister had recently had a baby, and their mother was helping take care of him or her. When Katie's
Whoops.
older sister
Oh,
abruptly left home with the baby, the shock and heartbreak their mother endured ultimately led to the onset of conversion disorder.
wow.
Katie
Wow.
eventually married a man named Tom and left home, moving down to Florida. Somewhere along the line, it became evident that she was psychic. She had very good general abilities such as ESP and clairalience, which is sensing psychic smells.
Whew.
Katie even worked with local police on cases. She was so good, in fact, that she was even suspected to be involved with a crime that she helped solve because she knew so much about it.
Wow.
The chief of police was at a standstill on a case and decided to call in Katie for help. Driving her around town, he was careful not to slow down by the home where the crime occurred, but Katie knew exactly which house it was. She even accurately described both the style of the decor in the house and the box that the jewelry had been stolen from.
Oh,
Yeah, she described 3 men who did this. 2 of them were already suspects, and 1 who hadn't been on the police's radar at all.
huh.
So she basically solved this case. There was also something about she helped police because as they were driving through town, she could smell weed really strong. And she said in 2 weeks, a bunch of like drug packages are going to wash up on shore. And they did. And police had confiscated like these big like bundles of weed that somebody had tried to ship across whatever. I think she was in South Carolina, so it was like the Atlantic, and it washed up in her town.
Yeah.
And she predicted that accurately.
Wow.
When she was later studied by a parapsychologist, they realized that in a trance state, she could write in medieval French. Even though, yeah. Even though she was unable to understand French spoken to her, even in the trance, she could write it.
What? That is really, really wild.
Yeah. These are two different parapsychological phenomena known as xenoglossy and automatic writing. So xenoglossy is being able to either write, read, or understand or speak a foreign language, one of those things that
Huh?
you can't normally do.
Yep. Like you
And
can't explain how.
right.
And what's the other one?
Automatic writing is,
Is it like when you're on the phone with somebody and you're just doodling things? Because I do that all the time.
yeah,
And
kind of,
I
but
write
I
the
think
weirdest
it's,
shit.
huh?
I write the weirdest shit. Like somebody will like say the word bread and I'll write the word bread like 700 times. I'm just kidding, not that much, but I will. I'll write it in like cursive. I'll look back at my notes all the time. I'm like, man, that must have been a good call.
Yeah. Um,
Funny.
Automatic writing, I think, is done during a trance.
That's funny.
So it things just come out. It's
Yeah.
almost like channeling, except you're writing it. But the interesting thing is that she was completely illiterate. She never learned to read or write in English, let alone other
Oh,
languages.
yeah, that's what you said.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. So poor Katie, her marriage to Tom was difficult from the beginning, and it was posited that this is when the phenomena surrounding Katie began. It was compared to poltergeist activity. The running theory is that people who are under extreme emotional turmoil, especially teenagers, can psychically erupt and unwittingly cause all this paranormal activity to occur around them.
Yeah, and they don't even realize it's them.
Right.
Wow. That teenage energy, though, it's on a different level.
So that seems to be what happened to Katie. Shortly after her wedding, things in her house began moving on their own and disappearing and reappearing where they don't belong. One day, a carving set appeared in their home, just appeared.
A carving set,
A carving set,
like a like a knife, like a blade, like for wood carving.
I
I'm
don't,
picturing.
I thought it was food, but I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That would make more sense.
It didn't specify. It just said a carving set. So I
Okay.
was picturing like a knife
Like,
block. I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Her husband commented, "What good is it if it's not money?" And then 2 days later, gold leaf began exuding from her skin.
Oh, what?
Yes,
Okay. Keep going.
this material appeared all over her body, especially her face, back, stomach, and sometimes even her tongue.
Okay. No words.
You're in shock. Katie was extensively studied in the late 80s by parapsychologist and philosopher Dr. Stephen Broad. His many achievements include the Myers Memorial Medal by the Society for Psychical Research for his significant contributions to psychical research. He also won the Distinguished Achievement Award of the International Society for the Study of Dissociation. He has also received numerous fellowships and grants in the field of parapsychology. He has, however, also been criticized for confirmation bias and for his disregard of evidence that opposes his theories.
Yeah.
So
No surprise.
he does have some people, some critics, but he's well known in this field.
And everybody's going to have critics no matter what.
Yeah, especially when it comes to this stuff.
Of course. Yeah.
The material allegedly coming from Katie's skin was not gold at all, but brass. Testing determined that it was 80% copper and 20% zinc, which is brass. Dr. Broad says that when Katie's husband said, "What good is it if it's not money?" Katie subconsciously began exuding gold leaf as a way to deal with her anger toward her husband, which she hadn't learned to express in a healthy way. Instead of giving him something with monetary value, Katie was able to create fool's gold, which Dr. Broad referred to as giving her husband the psychic middle finger.
Right.
So interesting, right?
Yeah. So like you could literally see the substance looked like bronze or
Mm-hmm.
coming out of her. That's so
Yes.
wild. Yeah.
Yes. Dr. Broad leveraged his connections at his university, which was the University of Baltimore, as well as Denver University, Johns Hopkins University, and the U.S. National Institute of Standards and Technology.
Oh.
Samples were tested, and all labs found that the structure of the gold leaf was the same structure and composition as typical gold leafing found in craft stores.
Huh.
All of the labs dismissed the material, believing something with a normal molecular structure could not possibly be paranormal, but Dr. Broad fervently disagreed. Besides, the more interesting thing was how it was materializing, not necessarily what it was made of.
Yeah, like I mean, both are equally wild,
Right.
but wow, like how?
hmm One hypothesis was that Katie was dissolving the brass into some sort of liquid solution and applying it to her skin. When the solution dried, the leaf would appear on her body in the areas where she put the solution. But the Johns Hopkins lab disproved this theory because the material had a rolled granular structure. If it had been mixed with a liquid, it would have had a crystalline structure.
Hmm.
Another hypothesis was sleight of hand, that Katie was a master magician and was able to place the gold leaf all over her body. But even magicians had a hard time with this because of the delicacy of the material. It's very clingy and difficult to get off your hands, especially in terms of moving it quickly from one hand to another or one hand to another part of the body.
Hmm. Wow.
Yeah. Dr. Broad also witnessed the skin begin to glisten before the leaf would appear, right in front of his eyes.
Oh, wild. So I was going to ask that, like, did anybody actually actively see this, like, producing on her skin
Lots of times.
in real time?
Real
Wow.
time.
Wow.
Yep.
And do you know if it was like literally her entire body, like all of her pores, or only, like you said, certain areas?
Um,
For like when the guy's theory about her painting it on certain areas, like,
yeah,
was it
it
just
was mostly
splotches?
just, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. What was your end of your
That's
question?
okay. Sorry. Like, was it more like splotches all over her body? It's just interesting to think. Like, I mean, I could just picture if it was like her from head to toe, every pore, she'd look like a reptile or something, you know?
Yeah, it wasn't splotches on her body. It was mostly her face, her under her shirt, like around her belly button, her lower
Oh,
back, and sometimes her hands and forearms.
weird, weird, even weirder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he witnessed it appear on her body in front of his eyes, and during at least one episode, Katie's hands were being held, and the gold leaf material still appeared on her forearms.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
One of Dr. Broad's chief concerns in his research was whether or not this gold leaf was a materialization or an apportation. A materialization is when a person is able to conjure a material out of thin air as if creating it themselves, whereas an apportation is when a psychic is able to kind of teleport an object or material from one place to another.
Hmm.
Both of these instances are known as macro psychokinesis. The initial thought was that Katie was sweating out the brass, but that would mean that she would have to have lethal amounts of copper already in her body to be able to sweat that much material out.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking originally. That's why I was wondering if it was like every pore, because that would almost make more sense
Mhm.
than it being in like splotches.
Right.
So strange.
But they realized that she wasn't sweating it out
Yeah.
because they discovered that the material was not only found on her body, but on objects nearby, such as the outside of her clothes and inside sealed bottles in the lab.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't this cool?
It is. Literally never heard of this ever. It's so wild.
So they, like I said, they did study her extensively, but there were some problems with observing and recording these episodes. At first, Katie would come in to be interviewed with cameras rolling, but they were unable to force the material to appear while they were watching. So eventually they set up a room with video cameras on tripods and would have Katie come in when she was having an episode. She often knew she was going to start having one of these gold leaf episodes because she'd get this certain sensation in her right eye.
So weird.
Yeah. So after ushering her into the room, they would check her hands, arms, scalp, under her shirt, and other areas of her body to be sure she wasn't hiding anything. She even had to remove her dentures so that they could check them.
Wow. Yeah. And because they weren't like 24/7, like watching her in the room, they had to, they had to go in there and just quickly make sure she wasn't hiding anything, like
Yeah.
to produce it.
And
it's strange. Like I wonder why they wouldn't have had surveillance on her like 24/7 because
they they said they tried, but it wasn't feasible. Like it was wasting a lot of time and they weren't catching anything.
yeah,
They
memory.
would start recording like after it would appear and stuff like that. But some of the problems that they had during recording were things like there's one video where she's rubbing her eye and the camera zooms in on her eye and hopes to catch it forming, but she moves her hand down and out of the frame to look at her hand to see if any gold had appeared. And when she rubs her eye again, the gold immediately forms in the corner of her eye.
Yeah,
So the researchers insist that Katie was in the middle of a room which was void except for the researchers and the cameras, and that it's impossible that she touched something and placed the gold into her eye. But
right.
the camera angles make it easy for skeptics to argue that other
Hmm.
things were happening out of frame, and
Yep,
the
of course.
researchers say that it's impossible. Katie developed gold leaf all over her back just after they had checked her back as well as the inside of her shirt.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, obviously, once somebody sees it actively forming, there's no way to explain that.
Right. Unless she was a
That's
master magician, but the
right.
material used is
Yeah.
difficult. There's a lot of other things she could have done that would have been much easier for her.
And it's crazy because to be illiterate and everything, it's like she probably put a lot of time into other things. And if she was practicing magic, she
Hmm.
would probably have a lot of time to. And you don't need to read or write to be a magician, right?
Right.
But no, I don't think she's a magician. I mean, who knows? Maybe she is. Maybe she is was a magic magician. Either way, that's still crazy.
There was a video, and when I researched it, it didn't come up, but I saw the video. So this guy, Dr. Broad, wrote a book, which I downloaded, and the first like 25 pages are about her. So I skimmed through it. I apologized if I missed it. I didn't see it in there, but it was in a video I saw where she claims that diamonds were coming out of her eyes. So in the video, she holds up her hand over her eye, and you can see like a small gem fall out. And of course, skeptics have like shown how you can like palm something in the middle of your fingers and then slightly open your fingers where
Mm-hmm.
people can't even see, and
Yeah.
the gem would fall out. So there was a lot of that stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if
But
this is true or not.
I mean, it
This,
seems like a different level of magic.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and also there were skeptics that tried the gold leafing, like they used hairspray and stuck it all over their body and it stayed on them all day, and they were like, look, see, it can be done. But Dr. Broad pointed out that of course you can stick it to your body, but it's what's mysterious about it is the conditions it happened under. She was
Right.
watched and it appeared on her. It's not like
Right.
she just
Right.
walked in with it, like
Right.
stupid.
Yeah. And of course, like once they looked into that and they, scientists, would discover hairspray.
Right. And he said that too, that it was
They-
looked at under microscopes and that there was no hairspray.
right.
There was nothing that,
There was nothing to stick it basically to her.
right,
I'm
right,
sure. Yeah.
right.
So,
I think
yeah.
like if you've ever seen gold leaf, it's really, really thin and you
Mhm.
could stick it to your body and your skin
Yeah.
oils would probably naturally keep it there. But
Yeah.
I don't even think the
If you
need
were
for,
sweaty, for sure.
yeah,
Oh, sorry.
that's
Yeah.
okay.
If you were
I
sweaty.
don't
Yeah.
even think that the need for hairspray is a thing, but
Yeah.
that's what they did to try to prove this wrong.
Right, right, right. But I mean, again, it's like it literally materialized before someone's eyes. It like came out of her skin. It's like, sorry, that's just you can't fake that.
Right.
But
Dr.
videos
Broad,
obviously would help. If there was real videos of that showing it, materializing before our eyes, then nobody would probably try to disprove it.
right. Dr. Brad considered Katie to be a good and trustworthy person who was very easy to work with. He said that she was not religious or overtly spiritual at all. She essentially had no horse in this race and only agreed to be tested for the greater good of psi research. He believed that Katie was not a fraud, not only because he tested her extensively under various conditions, but also because she had no motive at all to lie.
Hmm.
Some of the experiments included searches of Katie's body that could be quite intrusive, and she only ever got paid as compensation for missed work days. She had no interest in being in the media, really. She didn't want to be famous. She
Right.
liked to help, but that was it.
Yeah. So that does to me adds a lot more credibility.
Hmm. Dr. Broad has since lost touch with Katie, and it's unknown if she's still having these experiences or if she's even still alive.
Wow. Yeah, because like there's nothing on her last name. Is that because you think she wanted to be anonymous with the
Yeah.
story?
I mean, they
Understandable.
did show her face. She was on Unsolved Mysteries too.
Oh,
And
cool.
they interview her, they talk to her, they show the videos.
Oh, cool.
So I mean, she was out there, but somewhere they alluded to Katie not being her real name. I think the researcher said that. And of course, there's no last name anywhere that I could find. There's not even really
Yeah.
much known about anything about her other than what
Yeah.
I wrote.
I know it's so sad sometimes when you want to like really kind of get to know someone's backstory a little more and you
Yeah.
can't. It's disappointing, but it's okay. What we do know of her is pretty cool. It's a cool
Yeah, it
name
is.
to pick anyway.
And
It's
I
like,
can't imagine an
yeah.
8-year-old having to leave school to care for a parent like
Right. Yeah. No, that's
that's
a
what she
lot
did.
of emotional turmoil to be going through.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's so wild. Is there any more to this or are
That's it.
that's it?
That's it.
Um, I loved it. Good job.
Good. So
Very
speaking of
mysterious.
8-year-olds, we have a listener mail.
Cute.
Um,
Oh, yes, I know this
yes.
listener. So cute.
So I received an email from our website,
Tell them what our website is.
wickedmysterious.com, and this is from my son. So it says, I love everything you do in all of your episodes. Happy face from Nicky Pie, which is his nickname.
So cute. So cute. He's the sweetest.
He really is so sweet. He was like, oh, I told my friend at school that he said something like they're on their computer way too much at school, like surfing the web, doing shit they're not supposed to be doing.
For
So
real.
he's like, I looked up Wicked Mysterious podcast and I said, that's my mom. My mom's Danie. And he's like, and the kid didn't believe me. And then I showed, I guess that day he brought like veggie straws in a Tupperware container and I had written Danie on the bottom. I probably let somebody borrow it. He's like, see, Danny's my mom. And
So cute. He's
so
so proud.
so cute. So he
He's
went
so
to
proud.
the website and sent us a listener mail all on his
Oh,
own.
I
So
love it.
cute.
It is so cute. So cute. He's like definitely one of our biggest fans.
Oh yeah, he's so good.
Yeah. Well, I loved that in listener mail.
Yeah.
If you want to send us some love or any cool stories or anything, you can do so through our website, right, Danny? Because
Yep.
yep, we have a link tree there, like link to, right? I don't even know. I shouldn't even talk about this stuff. You handle all the tech.
There's a link tree
I
in
should
our
do that.
Facebook and on like all of our socials, but wickedmysterious.com is just our website and you don't even have to click anything. There's a little button for listener mail and it sends it right from there. You don't have to go to Gmail or anything. But if you wanted
Perfect.
to, you could send it to wickedmysteriouspod at
Pod.
gmail.com. I do
Yes.
also have not a listener mail, but a listener comment when we solicited information, solicited people's synchronicities.
Oh yeah. Cool.
Let me see if I can find it.
Wait, so is this someone's experience of a synchronicity?
Yes, it's
So
quick.
do we have multiple ones or just one? Because I was
Just
gonna say,
one.
oh, okay. I was gonna say if we have more, we could like make this into an episode,
Do you
you
want to
know?
save it for an episode? Nobody's really said
No,
anything.
if nobody's is it long? Is it short?
No, it's short.
Okay, yeah, let's just put it in then today. That's fine. Yeah.
Okay, so we have a comment from Gracie D, who's also one of I think she's a Patreon subscriber. She might be a Facebook subscriber. So thank you, Gracie. We love you.
Thank you so much, Gracie.
She said, let me start with where it all starts. My grandmother, who we call Old Mama, I love that.
That is so cute.
She was born on 3/5/33. She had my mother when she was 33 years old. My mom
Happy.
grew up on West 33rd Street. My mom went on to have three children, me being the third. My oldest sister was born at 9:33 a.m., my brother at 7:33 a.m., and me born at 3:33 a.m.
Weird.
My mom and I also on the daily see 333 or 33 on license plates, buildings, TV commercials, everywhere, constantly, multiple times a day. And of course, we all realized this and noticed this more when old mama passed away the day before her 83rd birthday in 2016.
Oh, so sad. I'm sorry. That's so crazy. Heavenly birthday to her that just passed because
That's
three
right.
five, right?
3/5.
Yep. But wow, what
Actually, she commented this on 3/5, I believe.
really?
Yeah.
So it was her birthday that day. Wow.
Yeah.
There was a bigger meaning. I
Yeah.
think old mama wanted her story out there. No,
Yeah.
but that is really crazy, especially like realizing it all after she passed away.
Yeah.
Um,
So cool.
yeah, so cool.
Rest in peace, old mama. And thank you, Gracie. Thank you for continuing to support us. And
Yeah.
we
Thank you,
love you.
Gracie. Thank you, old mama. I'm sure she's listening to our
Yeah.
podcast right now.
Yeah.
So,
All
all
right. Well,
right,
that's it.
that's it. Well, we will catch you next week for sure. We'll be
Yeah.
back. Stay
Stay
mysterious. Shit.
mysterious.
That was so bad.
It's so
You're,
hard to do on Zoom.
I know, but if we do the 1, 2, 3 with the fingers, I think we could do it.
Okay. Try it.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Stay
Stay
mysterious.
mysterious.
Is there a lag?
I don't know. Did it work? It sounded like it worked.
No. You came way in after me. Okay, let's see it again. So this is the rhythm. 1, 2, 3. Stay mysterious.
Mysterious.